The Aero Doggies, we started out at the farm, 1355 5 Mile in Wetmore Lake. Mickey was living there with us. Paul Spearman was there, and I lived there, and Stan, the keyboard player, kept being between moving out there and not. It's in the basement of the farm. Mickey had his drum set because he was currently playing with another band, and the bass player used to leave his bass and his amplifier in the basement, and we'd go down there and kind of look. We looked at it one day, and it was like winter time, and we needed something to do in a nice warm house. And so I thought, well, you know, I've got a guitar at my mom and dad's house and an amplifier. So a couple days later, I brought it out, and so I played guitar, and Mickey played on drums, and I showed Paul how to play some bass lines and that, and we started playing and playing more, and it was just a lot of fun, and so we played more and more. And we had a reel-to-reel tape deck that we were playing down there, so we could record on it, and then we'd listen to it, and then we would go back and do it again, and we kind of got good, and good enough anyway to satisfy our ears. And so we put together some good tunes, and once we had enough tunes, we actually started doing some parties out at the farm.
I talked to my buddy Paul, who I was working with at the time, and he said, well, you know, my friend Tom, his dad owns this farmhouse in Whitmore Lake. Why don't you talk to him, and you know, I'll move out there together. And so we did. And I never forget the last day in Inkster, and I had everything loaded up, and I'm heading out. Last time I'll be at that place, and I look up and I see all these, I think they were buzzards back then, but I thought they were all hawks or, you know, eagles or whatever, flying way up high, and I thought, oh, that's a good omen, going to the farm. And the farm was a cool place. We had some great times there. Of course, I had my drums, my PA equipment, and it had a nice old basement in the place that had actual stone walls. And so it made the sound really great down there.
I think the Aero Doggy name came a little bit later, and Kathy and I, before we were married, we'd gone on a date, and we went behind a sign company and looked in their dumpster, and we found a complete old steel Goodyear sign, and it was all big steel letters, and they were all blue fire enameled, and all the letters were there, and the flying foot was there. And so my mom and I spent some time figuring, well, what can we rearrange the letters to be? And so we came up with Aero Doggy, which used all the letters, and it made some sense out of the flying foot too. You know, it's kind of, you know, it's Aero Dogy, and so we pounded that up on the side of the barn, actually, and I wrote in Acres after that, so it was Aero Dogy Acres, and so the band, of course, had to be the Aero Doggies, and really, more than the band, anybody that went out to the farm was really an Aero Dogy, and it's kind of the way it is now. You know, anybody that comes to any of this Aero stock or anything is really an Aero Dogy. And we had different parties out at the farm. We had the hat parties, and Halloween parties were always a favorite. Always will be a favorite. You know, summer, all kinds of summer parties, whatever excuse we could find for a party where we could play at it. And it was interesting that we never started Aerostock until after we'd left the farm, because we were out at the farm for a couple of years, and I think we left there about '79, and we didn't start Aerostock until like '81 or '82, and it was the same guys we kept playing and getting much better.
For your love, for your love, for your love, I give you everything, more and that's for sure. For your love, I bring you diamond ring, things right to your door. For your love, to fill you with delight, I give you diamonds bright. The open face I will excite, to make you dream of me at night. For your love.
My cheat sheet.
That's a good one to
Proud
go back
Mary.
to.
Diane
There's
was
always
singing
Woolly,
that.
there's always Woolly Bully.
Oh yeah.
And what's the other one?
We added taking care of business during the night sometime.
Oh, Louie.
Soul Man was in there. Can't
Yeah.
turn you loose. That's one that Diane would have been in.
I like Louie.
When the guys left the farm, they had to find a place to practice, and so it naturally came to my basement with where Paul and I lived. And I was standing on the steps too often and singing along, so the guys pretty much had to let me play and sing along. So that was the beginning of my experience with Aero Doggies. Before that, I was a major fan, and I'm sure at all the parties that there were.
Aero Doggies all started actually with a Halloween party. I think that goes back to the farm in the early days and that. And it was just a great happening, like all Aero Doggies things are actually. And I know it was a dress-up party that you had to have costumes and
costume.
everything, and
We managed to have a costume.
we did. We were two old people, which were getting older. The experience was so great that later on, after going to that first Aero Doggy party, we actually were lucky enough to have our own private band, the Aero Doggies, which played at our house.
Several times.
3 times I think it was. And we actually built a room onto our house, an addition, and the Aero Doggies came to play.
Do you remember the party at our house? There were
Oh,
more
yeah.
people in our
Oh,
house
yeah.
than I thought the whole house
That was
Was-
in your new room.
in the new room, but the whole house was actually moving. The next morning after you guys left, I went and I was looking and picking up beer bottles, and I went to the corners in the room and I looked and I said, Sherry, look at this. Look at the sawdust. I don't know where the sawdust came from, but it came out of the corners because of the moving of the road.
I'm a live music fan, and I got sick of DJs, and I appreciate anybody that plays live music, no matter how well they do it. I give them credit for getting up there and doing it, even when sometimes it might not be the best, or it might not be this, or it might not be that. You know, I bow my head to anybody that gets up there and does it, and I'd rather listen to crappy live music than canned music any day.
People in the band were helpful. People outside of the band were helpful. Chris became a big, not only source for ideas and organization, but a tremendous amount of work and ability to do different things. And especially in some of the later Aero stocks, they wouldn't have happened without Chris's input. But it's always been kind of a group idea, and put as much fun ideas as possible into the party.
It takes a village to break down and set up, that's for sure.
It was the first time I went to Aero stock. I picked up every empty can that there was, and I took them home. And I washed them out, and I took them back to Danny's, and I got yelled at, and I had like $260 worth of deposits. And I think I got the attention of the band when they found out that I gave them the money back and put it into the kitty. So that kind of led me into the lead roadie position that I hold now.
So one of my favorite memories is that it might have been the first year at the farm when we had Aero stock, but we were playing along and it was really bouncing. We had a stage made out of a couple trailers that had a whole lot of bounce to it. And we're playing along, and Mickey was playing the drums, and all of a sudden Mickey wasn't there. He had bounced himself right off the back of the trailer. And just like, you know, Back to the Future, he was down, and all of a sudden he was back up, and he was playing. So it was a good memory. It was a lot of fun.
I have no idea which one it was, but I think I was drunk at the time. I think I was drunk at the time. Wasn't that in a song? Pink Floyd, I think, says that. Yeah. Yeah, but I think I definitely was drunk at the time. Like I said, I don't remember it. I even remember everybody telling me about falling off my drum, off the stage, and then I popped back up and only missed about 5 notes or something.
I've got a t-shirt from '82, so I know we were doing it then. By that time, the band was quite a few members. It was a big band, and we were having a lot of fun, and we decided to do a big party out at the farm because we just actually moved from there, and we were in our own homes and apartments and stuff like that. So the band was working out well, and we decided to go back to the farm and put together a big party, and we went kind of overboard. We had t-shirts, and you could get admission to Aero stock, and we had a chicken dinner that we should have never done, but we had great big grills set up, and we had some band practices where we would go to, I think it was E.J. Corvette's grocery store, and they had good deals on chicken, but you had to have, you know, one person can buy so many chickens, and so we take the whole band there at band practice, and we'd come out of there with a lot of chickens because we had a lot of people. And then we'd go back in again, and we'd buy more of them, and so we had tons of chicken, and then we had to cut them all up, and you know, it was just a huge production. Second year we didn't do chickens.
Yeah, it was a good time, hall parties. There was a few of them. VFW was one of them. Yeah, I think that was one of the first where the police showed up.
first introduction was that at the
I
farm,
think, yeah, the farm.
in the
hall.
basement that they were talking about. The one in the basement was kind of like knock your socks off, walk into this small basement, and to see that there's a band playing in the basement, and you would have had to be there, but it was such a small little environment that this was in, and everybody was having such a great time. It's kind of like, I could not believe it at the time to be in that basement to see all this happen.
Doing keggers over at the VFW hall or whatever that was, which you've probably seen some of the video because I did have some of that. And finally, we all moved out of the farm. Well, we had a bunch of parties at the farm in the farmhouse, and that was always a lot of fun because the barn out there, you know, it was an old pole barn with actual wood timbers that were cut out of trees. And when we had a party there was actually a basement to the place. It was a dairy farm, a dairy barn. And the cows would go underneath, and then the upper part would be for the hay, I guess. And that's where we had our parties. And we had a bunch of big hay pellets that we put together for a stage. And then just put plywood on top of that. And we'd play, and that whole stage would just rock as you play. And when everybody was into it, and then we had everybody dancing in the place, you could just see the floor flex, and it was like the walls were like, the whole place was just rocking. It was great parties.
You know, one that we didn't talk about yet was the one at Stan's on Grozeal. It was spring, it was raining like crazy. We had decided to turn his shed into a spook house. And to do that, it hadn't been touched for a while, and we opened up the shed, and there was a ton of snakes and all their little babies. And Stan that lived there couldn't have been more horrified by those snakes.
That's something that we offer everybody when they come to the party. There's no other place where they go where their dogs can come, their kids can come, they can camp for free, they can leave and come back anytime they want, and they've got live music, and sometimes it's been up to 5 or 6 different bands playing. I have bands now that when I am, you know, that call me and want to do this again and again and again, and we have to limit who comes back sometimes because it's just we get too many people that want to play because there's not enough venues for people to play live music at, especially something, you know, with a beautiful stage and a beautiful setting.
We even have the rough draft. '85 again. There was a lot of parties in '85.
Oh, that's the baseball.
That was a good year. We raised the price 50%. Oh. It went from $2 to $3. Donation, because we didn't want to get in trouble. We started it in the early 80s, and we did maybe 8 Aero stocks. And then it was getting bigger and wilder. My folks, so their property owners, decided, oh, it's too big, better not do that anymore for liability's sake. So we stopped it. And so the phase 2 started again when the band needed the place to play. We thought, well, let's start up Aero stock again. And so I approached my folks and I said, well, you know, most of us are in our 50s now, and we're a little calmer than we were in our 20s, and I'd like to do this again. And I convinced them that it was a great idea. And so they said, okay. So that started this phase 2, and now we've done maybe 8 to 10 years of Aero stock 2.
I'm part of the second, being part of the second coming. The second coming of Aero Dogy has been way too much fun. It's funny because Tom was working at GM for the longest time, and I lived in Plymouth, like 2 doors down from him. But I didn't know Tom lived 2 doors down from me. And I'm walking around one morning. I'm going to work, and I see his wife out there, and it's Kathy. And I notice her, and she's with another guy, and I thought, well, that's her husband, you know. And then Tom's working at GM, and he says, he lives in Plymouth. And I says, where do you live? And then he tells me, I says, wait a minute, I live on that street. And we finally connected. He's only 2 doors down from me. I didn't even know at the time. And Kathy was there. I said, but I thought Kathy was married to this other dude who was always walking the dogs. And I'm like, no, that's my wife. Take them on and walk the dogs. Okay. And we've just become friends ever since.
Wait a minute, who is the guy she's hanging?
He lived 2 doors down, right?
It's Sunday, 14th of September, 2014, and we've just, finished our 32nd year of Aero stock, something like that.
Wow.
Oh my God, no wonder it's
Should we?
Yeah, no, we haven't had one every year, but for the past, 8 years or so we've been doing this.
Must have been a good idea in the
Of
beginning.
the new millennium.
There you go.
Since we got permission again.
Since we were recommissioned. And this was a good one. This one was circus. Circus turned out good. Everybody got to run away to the circus finally and satisfy that dream. So I had fun. It was good people. Not the biggest crowd as we've had before, but a little bit of rain last night, cold weather kept people away. Good music, a lot of doggy music, and good music from Hard Drive.
Hard Drive.
And they were good. Everybody had a ball. Everybody had a ball. It was real nice.
What's your problem over there, Tom? Come on, Tom, you gotta have a problem.
You turn that off.
I don't have problems.
Okay.
I leave those to Chris.
All right.
Monitor out his no chords.
Yeah. There you
Hit the
go.
band there, don't just stand there. It's carnival time.
Oh yeah.
I feel a beer in my future.
I'm about to hug you, though.
Roustabout, and there's happy shouts. Children shouting if you got doubts. Quit your doubting, it's thrill, it's fight.
I like the downsize. I'm happy with the downsize. I like when there's a lot of people here, but I was happy this year.
I've enjoyed the whole event. I'm glad I came. All good people here. Like the fire, the band, the beer.
It's carnival time.
Elephants are arriving as we speak.
Can we hear them in the distance?
They're coming, but I haven't heard
Okay.
them yet. I don't even see them yet. But I've heard they're in the neighborhood.
Okay. I think I hear them coming in. Yeah, it's like a African safari around here.
I know Paul had the roughest time, and then he ended up working in Ohio.
Paul always has a rough time.
But he was working in
Sorry.
Ohio, and then coming up here to for practices
Yep.
on the weekend,
Wow.
and then would have to go back to Ohio to work.
Yep, then he couldn't sing because he always got allergies down in Kentucky, and then come up here.
Was that where he's working?
He's
Kentucky?
Kentucky,
Sure,
yeah.
I thought.
Well, he's down in Ohio
Well,
too.
yeah.
Yep. Nobody wants to beat him.
I'm in love. I can't live without her. I'm in love, but I sure picked a bad time. This is what I require to be in love. Be in love.
I know I just pulled shit up to 207. Was that the first one we did with the NASCAR?
I think so.
07. That's when he started doing it, so it's been 7,
It's
8
8,
years.
it'll be 9. This longer stretch than we went with the first phase.
Yeah, it's all right, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
Because I think the first phase we started in 80 or
Okay.
81 and went on to maybe
2014, right.
I think we need pole dancing. I think we need to start on Tuesday.
And we have to go till Monday.
The downsizing was good. It was okay. We still good. No more big old tent. Let's go with the other tent now. We like that. Heated tent. What else? Maybe
Long
one
sleeve
more
shirts
band.
next year.
Hoodies. Hoodies.
Hoodies.
Oh,
Hoodies.
yes.
Yeah.
That's a good one.
Thanks, Chris, for all the years of service. We appreciate it.
Love you.
I want to thank everybody for coming and for all the help. Nobody can
Well,
do it by
we need
themselves.
to thank Chris for all of his
Amen to that.
efforts,
Nobody
inspiration.
can do it by themselves, and
nobody
thank
can do it without
Art
you
for
either.
letting us do this and for starting it.
That's right.
we
back
seen
in,
the,
back
we seen
in
the pictures.
1961.
Art started it, so.
Oh, yeah.
Pig
so,
roast. So it's not our fault.
It's not our fault. Walt know if he's listening now that we missed his presence, but we had him represented.
You honored
so
him, yeah.
We had the Tin Man stage for 2014. Nobody got hurt. The fire was bodacious. I'm sure hoping there's footage of that somewhere on there.
I think the
didn't
weather
have to do
really
that.
cooperated. It brought people closer together.
Yeah.
As a picture that he'll have of
You were either in the tent or at the fire. Yeah.
Oh yeah, they were nice and huddled around that. Tom was saying that we should just make it a big drive-in where everybody parks their cars and have a big screen up there and all the entertainment can be just shown, on the screen.
We have a music video.
That would be
virtual Aero
That way we don't have to bring all the equipment out. It already being recorded.
We can have the Beatles and the Rolling Stones here too.
Oh, my God.
Virtual Aero stock
Show
2015.
Woodstock at Aero.
Really, more than the band, anybody that went out to the farm was really an Aero doggy, and it's kind of the way it is now. Anybody that comes to any of this Aero stock or anything is really an Aero doggy, and once you're infected, there's no cure.